tension today. China, Philippines trade statements over medical evacuation from disputed shoal. Despite pledging to de-escalate tensions at Second Thomas Shoal, Beijing and Manila continue to exchange rhetorical fire. The China Coast Guard, CCG, said yesterday that it had allowed the Philippines to evacuate a person who had fallen ill on a rusting warship grounded on a disputed shoal in the South China Sea. The claim was made in a statement issued just hours after the Philippine Coast Guard, PCG, reported that it had faced numerous obstructing and delaying maneuvers from its Chinese counterpart as it carried out the medical evacuation at Second Thomas Shoal on Sunday. PCG spokesperson Jay Terila said in a social media post that two PCG vessels rendezvoused with a rigid-hulled inflatable boat, RIAG, deployed from the barco Sierra Madre, a rusting warship that Manila purposely grounded on the shoal in 1999. Despite the threatening presence of various CCG small vessels, the PCG RIB was able to return to the main PCG vessel without further interruption. The sick personnel was then provided with urgent medical attention, said Terila. Late yesterday, the CCG said that it had monitored the medical evacuation operation, but had allowed it to proceed based on humanitarian considerations, China's Global Times reported. It said that this was made at the request of the Philippines. PCG spokesperson Jay Terila responded on X by calling the Chinese statement ridiculous. The statement further confirms their illegal deployment of vessels within our EEZ, exclusive economic zone, and highlights their government's view that the preservation of human life and welfare requires approval. The exchange of statements represents the latest salvo between Manila and Beijing over the situation at Second Thomas Shoal, a low tide elevation within the Philippines' EEZ that China claims under its maximalist 9-dash line. China has seemingly singled out the shoal as the most vulnerable of the 9 Philippine-occupied features in the Spratly Islands. Over the past 2 years, CCG vessels have made increasingly frequent and forceful attempts to prevent the Philippines from resupplying the small contingent of Marines stationed aboard the Sierra Madre, while accusing Manila of violating past agreements not to transport construction materials to the rusting warship. The Philippines denies all of these claims. This has resulted in a string of dangerous incidents in which CCG vessels have rammed and fired water cannons at Philippine patrol ships and supply boats. Among the most serious took place on June 17, in which 8 Filipino personnel were injured, one of them seriously. The PCG also claims that China blocked an attempted medical evacuation on May 19. The exchange of indignant statements came a day after China Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said that the Philippines was allowed to deliver supplies or evacuate personnel from the Sierra Madre if it notifies the Chinese side in advance. This creates a dilemma for the Philippines, which Ray Powell, the director of the Sea Light Project at Stanford University's Gordian Knot Center for National Security Innovation, told The Inquirer. For Manila to recognize Beijing's stated pre-notification requirement even for basic humanitarian missions runs counter to Manila's assertion of its freedom of navigation and resupply rights to its own outposts within its own exclusive economic zone, Powell said. Also this week, Manila and Beijing exchanged angry words after China's Ministry of Natural Resources said in a report on Monday that the illegally beached Sierra Madre had seriously damaged the diversity, stability, and sustainability of the reef ecosystem at Second Thomas Shoal. The Philippines South China Sea Task Force shot back by accusing China of having caused untold damage to the maritime environment and jeopardized the natural habitat and the livelihood of the thousands of Filipino fisherfolk. The continued exchanges of rhetorical fire suggest that despite a pledge from both sides to de-escalate the tensions over Second Thomas Shoal in the wake of the June 17 incident, the situation remains febrile and potentially explosive. China's maritime militia, known as the People's Armed Forces Maritime Militia (PAFM), is a pivotal yet often overlooked component of Beijing's strategy to assert its territorial claims in the South China Sea. The militia's activities have intensified, exemplified by the swarming of Scarborough Shoal by Chinese fishing boats in May 2024. These boats, part of the maritime militia, were deployed not for fishing but to counter a Philippine aid mission, effectively deterring the operation and reinforcing China's control over the disputed territory. The PFM originated from a post-Civil War need to defend China's coastline, evolving from a group of untrained fishermen to a sophisticated force capable of conducting gray zone operations actions aimed at asserting control over contested waters without triggering direct military conflict. The militia plays a key role in geopolitical standoffs, including the capture of the Paracel Islands in 1974, the 2009 USS Impeccable incident, and the 2012 Scarborough Shoal clash. The PFM is a civilian-military hybrid force divided into a professional fleet of at least 100 purpose-built boats and the larger Spratly backbone fishing vessels, SBFV. The professional fleet is equipped with military-grade technology and is often visible on satellite tracking platforms in disputed areas. In contrast, the SBFV fleet, comprising regular fishing boats recruited through government subsidies, is less detectable due to low-grade or absent satellite transmitters. Crews consist of civilian fishers, sailors, and ex-military personnel trained by the People's Liberation Army Navy, Plan, and the China Coast Guard, CCT. While the militia operates independently from these entities, it is closely coordinated and supported primarily through government subsidies and salaries from state-owned companies.